Do you love the idea of cash flow from rental properties, but you're terrified that an air conditioner will break or a tenant will sue or something will happen that consumes all of your cash flow and turns your rental into a money pit? Fret no more, my friends. There's an ultra-safe way to profit from rentals and never, ever worry about a single one of those risks. I'm Bryan Ellis. I'll tell you all about it right now in episode 122.
You're listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio, America's only podcast exclusively for affluent, self-directed investors, where each day of the week you receive innovative investment strategy and deadly accurate market analysis that's untainted by Wall Street and unblemished by government propaganda, all in 7 minutes or less. Coming to you now from iTunes, Stitcher, and SDIRadio.com, here's your host, Bryan Ellis.
Hello, SDI Nation. Welcome to the podcast of record for savvy, self-directed investors like you. This is a big day, my friends. Later today and also this evening, I'll be delivering a special webinar for those of you who are really smart about rental property investing. We've got a number of opportunities, 17 houses in 3 different markets to be precise, which are excellent rental opportunities. They're located in great markets with solid appreciation prospects and a strong supply of tenants. They each already come loaded with a paying renter and immediate cash flow for the buyer, and they each have experienced, competent property management in place. And best of all, each of these occupied properties are available for purchase by savvy investors like you at below market pricing. That's right. No cap rate based pricing mumbo jumbo here. We figure out what the property would sell for under normal market conditions to a retail buyer, and we sell it to you for less. Every one of these properties are certified as S3 compliant. Simple, safe, and strong. Really solid bets. Now, that event happens once this afternoon and once this evening, so if you'd like to get an invitation to join us at no cost as my guest, just text the word invitation to 33444 right now or visit sdiradio.com/invitation. Either way works, but this particular event happens once later today and once more tonight, so you've got to jump on it right away. Just text the word invitation to 33444 or visit sdiradio.com/invitation right now. So, when you buy a rental property the right way, meaning in a way that's 100% consistent with my simple, safe, and strong formula, you're in a solid position for near-term cash flow and tax benefits and for substantial long-term growth in equity and therefore your wealth. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and for most of you, it's an option to be seriously considered. But there are some of you who entirely reasonably simply don't want to take the risk that there could be big unforeseen expenses with a rental property. Let's face it, folks, even in the best of situations, things can go wrong. Severe weather, tenants going a little bit emotionally crazy, surrounding areas going into decline in some ways, or, there are a number of other things. With proper planning, the risk of those things drop to nearly zero, but the risk remains. And for some people, even the possibility that that risk could happen is sufficiently stressful that it'd be worthwhile to avoid the risk entirely. But there's a great way for those of you who agree with the fundamental wisdom of buying rental property in the S3 way, simple, safe, and strong, to benefit from rentals without facing down those risks for even one single moment. Here it is. Let's say you've got $100,000 that ideally you'd like to invest into a rental, but you just don't want the stress from that risk. What could you do instead? How about this? Why don't you lend that money to another investor who is buying really solid S3 certified rental property? You've got great assurance that they're investing into an asset of high quality because the S3 certification is a high standard which most rental properties are unable to meet. And that's important because the S3 certified property is going to be your collateral, your guarantee that you get your payment every single month. But you have to do it safely. So if an investor wants to buy a property that costs $100,000, then why don't you lend them half of that, $50,000? That way your collateral, the real estate, is worth exactly twice what you lend against it. This puts you in an incredibly safe situation and makes it a virtual certainty that the investor will always make their payments to you on time. And those payments will bring you an interest rate that is extremely attractive for the right investor. So who is the right investor for this type of opportunity? Well, if you've still got decades before retirement, this isn't for you at all. But for those of you nearing or already in your retirement years, this is a great option. I was speaking just yesterday to one of your fellow listeners to the show named Bob. Bob, if you're listening now, it was a pleasure to speak with you. Bob is clearly a very savvy investor and has a substantial portfolio. He was looking for a great investment opportunity for himself, but what struck me most was the part of the conversation towards the end when he told me about his mother. Bob's mother is about to be moved into an assisted living facility. She has savings of her own, and Bob has responsibility for helping her with that money. He mentioned he was frustrated because her money's in a bank CD collecting 0.1% interest. Can you believe that? 0.1%. Wow. My friends, that's not a certificate of deposit. That's a certificate of depreciation. I checked at my own small local bank to find out. And he's not kidding. That's disgusting. So Bob's mother could benefit profoundly from this type of strategy because she'd collect a very respectable rate of about 5%, literally 50 times what her CD is paying her. And the capital would be safe. Folks, loans made for only 1/2 of the property value virtually never go bad. And the monthly payments would just hit Bob's mom's account each and every month in and month out, reliably like clockwork. In fact, a lot of lenders have their payments automatically debited from their borrowers' checking accounts. And the best part? If you or your parent get involved in this type of lending, there's plenty of opportunity to deploy your capital, and it's very easy to get a third-party guarantee so that in the indescribably unlikely event that the loan goes bad, the third party will step in and cash you out with no trouble at all. It's an amazing win-win scenario. Folks, obviously this isn't for everybody, but it might be for somebody you know and love. For most of my listeners, the wisest thing for you to do is join us for today's training, where I'll introduce you to 3 great rental markets and the 17 properties we have on offer there that are available at below market pricing. Great opportunities, every one, and I'm eager to explain them to you. But for those of you looking for an ultra-conservative strategy that pays up to 50 times the prevailing rate on CDs, it's an extraordinary fit. So here's how to move forward regardless of which camp you sit in. If you or your parent or other loved one need a strong but ultra-conservative way to generate consistent income, just as I've described in this episode, then set up a time to talk with me. You can do that by texting the word guidance to 33444 or by visiting sdiradio.com/guidance. Or if you're on the other side of that equation and you're looking to actually accumulate great rental properties in great markets with solid tenants and highly reliable property management at well below market pricing, then I'd love to have you on today's training. To get your invitation, you can text the word invitation to 33444, or you can visit sdiradio.com/invitation. Either way, my friends, I have one piece of advice I hope you'll live by, and it's this: invest wisely today and live well forever.
Thank you for listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio with Bryan Ellis. Don't miss a single episode. Be sure to subscribe to Self-Directed Investor Radio right now on iTunes, on Stitcher, and at SDIRadio.com. Your feedback is always welcomed via email at feedback@SDIRadio.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended as legal or professional advice for your situation. Content is the property of the Self-Directed Investor Society.